Hi everyone. Hope you are doing absolutely fine. I am Meet and final year B engineering student at AIU Cambridge, and also the GDG academic ambassadors. And my teammate, my friend Yash, we both will be going to explain you about trustworthiness of Gen AI in decision making for IoT device.
Hi, Yash. So the thing is, why we are trying to put things in one thing. So it's generative AI and IoT. So generative AI is nothing, just part of the AI, artificial intelligence, and the IoT is the Internet of Things. What it does is it will try to communicate with other devices, just like smartwatches, smartphones, and autonomous driving systems. So the thing is that these devices will try to predict in real time. If it's real time, will it predict right? And if it's right, will it predict in real time?
That's really the big deal because the trust, because here the trust is not an optional anymore. It's very critical. Just imagine that you are having a smart thermostatic at home, and that smart thermostatic is deciding summer temperature in cold freezing winter.
Now, first thing is that why are we trying to put this thing in one thing? Right now we have so many IoT devices, but those are not automatic in my thinking. Those are semi-automatic. To make those automatic, I think the Gen AI is the main thing. We can think that we have a very personalized own healthcare device which can predict our health condition based on the inputs, and we can also think about a coffee machine which will prepare the coffee before we getting out of the bed.
Yeah. Totally agree. But here the system makes a decision in real time. So let's take an example of an healthcare. How many of you would agree that should AI be doing accurately symptom diagnosis of the human? Or just imagine that you are in autonomous car, and how would you guys trust to reach your destination through that autonomous car in the worst condition weather?
The key thing is the trust, because if trust erodes, I think a very best device won't be selling in the market. So trust is not easily achievable. So I think trust is the main thing.
So now we will be talking about the key challenging in the trusting of Gen AI. The first, we will talk about the reliability. Can the system consistently do the things what he's supposed to the meant for, even in the unpredictable situations?
The next key thing is the accuracy. As Gen AI highly depend on the input data, so if the input data is having noise or biasness, it might be predicting wrong things. Suppose a patient having a very bad health condition and its health is being predicted wrong, it might be nightmare.
And finally, there comes the transparency. For many of the people, the AI here is a black box, and the user actually thinks why the system is making the decision on its own. Let's say, for example, how many I know many of people will be using the smartphones having the Google and the Siri. So have you guys noticed that without saying anything, does this kind of system do activate? Mine doesn't.
Then it comes to the technicality, but it's not just limited to technicality. It's now human thing. If people not knowing what is going behind it, people are not going to buying. Just like we can say that we are not going to spend money on a random thing.
And here in ethical issue, the privacy comes the main. I would never share my data, the personal one, with the AI, because this kind of an AI systems actually requires the large number of data, and sometimes these data will be the personal too. I would never share my one with an AI, because if we train an healthcare model or an any autonomous car, or if we talk about the financial situations, we require the real-time data which can actually predict the correct things.
Now, let's think about ethics. So, suppose an AI device is trying to make a decision between two emergency patients, and it is predicting, but we can't say that it has ethics. How can we put ethics in it? So we still need some sort of clarity between those. And then it comes to the good news. People are trying to improve these things via user responses, and then it comes to the myth.
Yep. Looking ahead to an Gen AI, we came across an explainable AI, which is also known as an XAI. What it actually does is that making an AI system in such a way that the human can easily understand the things. Just imagine your smart fridge actually is explaining you why he has ordered an oat milk instead of an almond milk.
And then there it comes to the Edge AI. Edge AI is nothing, just a device running and generative AI on itself. So it will be taking input and predicting the output on the same device. Your data won't be traveling to the cloud so far.
And on top of all that, we cannot forget about the data privacy. It is actually the main thing. When we talk about the privacy, here the developer have to construct or design a system in such a way that the system should function at its peak and also respecting the ethics and the data of the user.
But these things comes with the challenges. So people will be going to rely highly on these things, and people need to make a difference between what is trustworthy and what is possible. And now let's wrap up these things. People are highly trying to achieve these things, and there is a bridge. They are trying to make a bridge between the trust and these devices, so that it can be worked out in the future.
And exactly, if we focus on building a Gen AI model, we have to make sure about the privacy and the rules and regulations. Thank you. Guys, if you have any questions, just feel free to.
Yeah, any questions? Stick your hand up. Thank you both, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you both for the interesting discussion. I was just curious if you had any thoughts around managing latency, and also the fact that you talked a lot about health data. One of the challenges today, I think, is that there's no commonly agreed standard for how health data is gathered and distributed. And then finally, did you consider any elements of federated learning or tokenized training data in your thought process?
I think I can say about the latency. The thing where we need latency, very low latency, we need to make those devices with the generative AI. Those data should not be traveling to the cloud. Instead, it should be directly predicting it. For the LLM.
Yep. And for the fidelity learning, I would say I have worked on one of the projects where it actually does is that it gathers the data on the same device itself. Like, it's not sharing the data to anyone outside. My main motive was to train a model locally instead of sharing the data to the further one. Like, instead of sharing the data, let's train the AI in local system only. So my main concern was the data privacy there. So I've trained the data in such a way that it acts accordingly to the systems.
We've got probably time for one more question, if anyone has one. Cool.
Yep.
One at the back.
I just got one question.
Yep.
Yeah, so talking about healthcare and AI, do you think there is a legitimate use or need for AI in healthcare?
I think just yesterday I submitted one project which is working on RR intervals. So how it does is, it is trying to detect atrial fibrillation via ECG data, and from the ECG RR intervals are be filtered. So those conditions can't be, we can't be actively monitored. We need to be in the hospital to detect those things. So in the real time, we can make smartwatches or something like that to implement it.
And also for the healthcare, I've worked on two of the projects, where the first one was I have fine-tuned the PAL Gemini model, where basically what it does is that I take the data from the Kaggle about the lungs and everything, and once the model is been trained, if you push the data, and it will say that this part of lungs is actually affected. So I would say just fine-tuning this kind of things can help in NHS, and also I've fine-tuned Gamma 2 about the chatbots. If you say that I have this kind of symptoms, you just have to enter the symptoms and press enter. It will suggest you like these are possible cases with you, so consult nearest GP. Thank you.
So yeah, thank you again.
Oh, so there is one question.
One more, yeah, super quick one. Thank you.
That was a very good presentation, especially when you touch base on healthcare IoT devices. My question is, would these generative AI models risk being at use to breach the privacy of healthcare data generated by the devices and systems?
For those, if it's a very severe thing, we need to put it in the device, or otherwise we need to make some standards of the security. That's all we need.
Thank you.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you again, both. Another big round of applause.
Thank you.